Hello everyone.
Hello.
So, my name is Judith. Today I will be interviewing my lovely boyfriend. Can you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Jordan. Is there anything that I need to state?
What is your name? Where you're from?
Hi, I'm Jordan. I am from here, Miramar, but my cultural background is Chinese and Jamaican. And yeah, that's all you need to know.
Right now, before we dive deeper, what did you get for us today?
Okay, so the food today, we're going the Jamaican route. We got some Jamaican patties from the best place in Florida. I'll say the whole country, but it's Taste Rite. So we got some Jamaican patties. We got chicken and beef. I got myself a cocoa bread. Only real ones know about that one.
You want to tell us more about the patties?
It's just meat inside of a dough filling, and I mean, Taste Right makes it good because it's really flaky and nice outside, and then you put it in the cocoa bread to give you a little more sustenance, and it's delicious.
Alright, so let's get one.
Right.
Yeah.
The plain ones are beef, and the ones with the dot is the chicken.
I always get chicken. We'll have chicken. I'll just eat it from here.
Yeah, if you want a bag, you get a bag. You don't
I'll
want
get a bag. I don't want to put my crumbs in the cookie. Oops. Wait, so flaky. Just like it not on me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
They're making very hot.
Dink. Really messy, really good.
That's why we're outside.
Yeah,
I got all crust.
me too, man. No worries. The chicken's like in there somewhere. Also, pardon our voices. We're kind of both sick right now.
I'm recovering.
I think I'm at the peak of mine.
There's no good way to show the filling, really, but
Isn't it?
it's just chicken.
Yeah.
It's like a stewed chicken in here.
Okay. So, I know you've never been to China. I know you've been to Jamaica like what, once or twice?
But
Twice. You want to talk about that? How that was? Because I know you went recently, and you went when you were a lot younger. So, what do you think was the difference? Seeing it back then and like now.
I'm a little more culturally knowledgeable about it now that I'm a little older. When I was younger, I didn't really touch into the Jamaican side of my ethnicity, I guess. I grew up in a more Asian style household. I grew up with just my mom. And so going to Jamaica was kind of like very different for me when I was really young. It was like, what is this place? Why are we here? Who are these people? And why do they all know me, but I don't know any of these people? It's because my parents used to work in Jamaica, so everyone knew us. They didn't even need to introduce themselves. They just started saying, hello, hello. And I was like, okay, cool, hello. But so when I got a little older, I learned more about why we have family ties in Jamaica. It made it more, I guess, enjoyable knowing that I'm in a place where I have family there, and my family grew up here. My mom did. Yeah, so it was very nice. But I haven't been to more of the vacation side of Jamaica, more of just where my parents used to work.
Well, what about recently?
That was a recent trip too.
That was?
Well, the recent trip I went to go for a family wedding, so we didn't really explore the island. We just stayed in a hotel, went to the wedding, and then flew out. It was very quick. It was during school, so I had to leave.
How do you think being both Chinese and Jamaican kind of, whatchamacallit, played a role into how you grew up, like, you know?
I grew up, again, mostly Chinese. Even though, funny enough, my mom grew up in Jamaica at a very young age, starting at 3 years old. So she's basically a Jamaican girl. However, I guess the time that she did live with her parents, which is very little because she went to boarding school, but it influenced her a lot more, and especially my dad. My dad is more Chinese than he is Jamaican. He moved to Jamaica during high school age, so he's still influenced pretty heavily by the Chinese culture. And so I grew up mostly like that. I mean, as you can see on the outside, I'm full Chinese outside. I don't have Jamaican blood, but it's culturally there from my mom. And so growing up, it was mostly like an Asian American experience. Most people would see that by physically. I didn't start getting into the Jamaican culture until like I gained consciousness in like high school, and I was like, wait, where is this stuff coming from? Like this food, like my mom's making like jerk chicken and like rice and peas, and I'm like, this isn't Chinese. Where is this food coming from? And I started to really like recollect my memories. Like, oh, my dad used to visit every month. Where did he come from? He came from Jamaica. And it kind of influenced me to start looking into the culture and start kind of enjoying, I guess, that part of myself that I never really unlocked growing up until around the high school age.
So what is something now that you've discovered or you're doing to get in touch with your Jamaican, I guess, culture roots?
It's great that I had the opportunity to join Rhythm to Africa. That's under legendary drummer Willie Stewart from Third World Band. That's a very big band in Jamaica. So I'm part of that program, and so it's given me some Caribbean music influence, a lot of Afro-Caribbean, and because I am a music major, it kind of coincides with the best part of myself, the musical part. And so having that experience of being in a live band, they play Caribbean music, they're playing the reggae, they're playing the Afro beats. It's like really cool to see the music cultural side of Jamaica. And I'm very glad to have that opportunity right now to be able to experience that. And I keep going and I keep learning. It's great.
So what parts of like your culture or cultures, I should say, do you want to like, I guess, pass down to like your kids, onto future generations?
I would definitely want to pass down all of the above, because there's that American style of growing up here in Miramar, and then there's a lot of Chinese influence from how I was raised in my household, and then now I'm learning there's a lot of Jamaican influence that I enjoy that I would want to pass down. But also there's a lot of cultures here that I grew up with that's not just part of my ethnic background. Like there's a lot of there's a huge black community, huge Hispanic community here, and so I wouldn't necessarily want to pass down just 1, 2, 3 cultures. I want to pass down the entirety of my experience here, growing up in a culturally diverse area in South Florida. It's super nice.
And how would you do that for your kids?
It would just come naturally. There's some things that I have, habits that I have, that I don't even notice, but they're culturally tied, I guess you could say.
Like what?
You can think about something as simple as taking the shoes off in the house. It's a very Asian thing to do. Or then, if I wanted to listen to music, maybe what's on my playlist, some reggae starts playing. I mean, that's, island inspired. And then, maybe if I want to dance, maybe I'll put on some salsa music. Like, it's so culturally diverse here that I feel like it's almost naturally embedded in me, and it'll just come out when I'm trying to raise someone.
Do you know or have heard of any superstitions in your culture?
Not much. Because my family doesn't believe in superstitions like that. They're very straightforward people. So actually, I wouldn't know any.
Well, then are there any traditions that you currently do with your family or by yourself?
It's another funny thing. I don't do many traditions, especially cultural traditions.
Is there any that you would want to research into?
Yeah, I would totally research into more. Oh, that's a spider. Wow.
I know. That sounds like.
I would totally research research into more of the Chinese traditions because there's a lot of traditions for that. A lot of holidays. I mean, as basic as it gets is like Chinese New Year. We don't celebrate it, but I mean, we'll recognize that it's a thing, and then I send my grandfather a message saying Happy Chinese New Year or something like that. But other than that, we don't really celebrate holidays, big holidays. But I would look into more of that Chinese cultural side because I know they have a lot.
Do you hope to visit China and Jamaica kind of like more thoroughly?
No.
Both?
I would visit Jamaica as a tourist. I wouldn't visit the side that my family worked in because a lot of them moved out already to other places of the world, so I don't have much to see in the countryside per se. And in China, I have nothing to see in the countryside because I mean everyone moved out. The only people that I know there are really extended family, and so there's no point in me going. So I definitely would not want to visit China. But I mean, it's because if I go there and I stay there with my family, I'm living in the countryside in like a pretty run-down house, so I'd rather not do that. So then if I went to China, it would just be as a tourist again. I'd just go to the city. I would definitely go to Jamaica because it's a little closer, a lot closer. But I'm not a big guy on traveling to where I'm from.
Okay, so to close things off in this interview, I want to ask if there's something like a small message that you could say to your younger self of kind of like growing up into this, I guess, town, being exposed to so many different cultures. Like, what would you say to Jordan?
Just ask your mom more questions about where she's from and where you're from, because most of the knowledge that I learn about my culture is through my mom, especially since she's Chinese influenced, but she grew up in Jamaica. So a lot of my knowledge about Jamaica especially is just from her, just asking her questions. So I would say ask your parents more questions.
Okay, so that concludes our tiny mukbang interview. We're saying bye already. We're about to say bye. But yeah, so hope you enjoyed. Should get patties. It's really
Get some
good.
patties.
Yeah.
Taste Rite on Pembroke Pines.
So, don't
I'm not sponsored, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a big mess, guys. Okay. Goodbye.
Bye.